In the world of professional sport, competition is the name of the game. Victory is everything. Defeat can be crushing. Tempers flare. Verbal and sometimes physical attacks happen. And players will taunt each other mercilessly. And in all sports in the world, the NBA must surely be one of the front runners when it comes to players mocking, taunting, and getting in each other's faces. Lots of former NBA players, now veterans, believe that the game has become a lot softer in recent times and will remember the good old days, when it was apparently much harder to play in the NBA. Certainly, they'll remember the vicious taunts that were used to goad players and throw them off their game. Whether it was tougher then or now, the subject of player taunts is a fun and interesting one. And so today, let's take a look at some of the most disrespectful taunts in NBA history. Now this is your cue to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and slam dunk that notification bell. Steph Curry, the look-away three. Steph Curry, point guard for the Golden State Warriors, is widely regarded as one of, if not the greatest shooter in NBA history. It's not hard to see why, of course, as the guy rarely misses a shot, and after 3 years of making three-point baskets in tight spots, he has clearly learned to rely on himself. He can even predict when the ball is going in. As a result, he's developed a taunt that most absolutely infuriates the players on the opposing team. He takes his three-pointer shot, and then, so confident that he has made the points, turns his head away from the ball while the ball is still in the air, and runs back to his position. With confidence like that, it's not hard to see why he's able to thrive under the pressure of a championship final. It's a humble brag, but it can truly demoralizing to his rivals. Baron Davis, untucking his jersey. Another point guard alumnus of the Golden State Warriors between 2005 and 2008, Baron Davis created a lovely little taunt for antagonizing his foes in the 2007 playoffs against Utah Jazz. Rampaging across the lane to drive home a dominant slam dunk over Russian Andrei Kirilenko. Caught in his own momentum, Davis would stagger over the line and stare Kirilenko down, untucking his jersey with flair and letting it drop to its full length. It was as if David was saying, "Well, I've stolen the show. Guess that's the end of the spectacle. Might as well hit the showers." In fact, he had a fair point. It was a spectacular dunk, and not much could have happened to upstage such a move. It's pure arrogance, but hey, when you pull off something like that, you probably deserve a chance to have a good old gloat. At least he wouldn't be sweaty. LeBron James, the silencer. LeBron James is a highly talented player. Some say the best of all time, though that's questionable because that accolade is firmly in the hands of Michael Jordan, without question. Still, LeBron has one advantage, or perhaps disadvantage, in being so high profile in the age of social media. He currently has made quite an embarrassing name for himself with his political rants, his visit to China, and his attacks on fans. But no one can argue about his talent, and the man has a particular taunt reserved just for the fans in attendance. Fans will try to goad and distract LeBron, and he's very good at making them even angrier with a little move he calls the silencer. First, he'll jump into the air, raising his knee and walking with each knee raised as he flattens his hands and pushes in a downward fashion, as if to tell the fans to quiet it down. He does this specifically after he succeeds in a shot, while being heckled, as if to say, "Silence." Very arrogant, but what else would you expect from the king? Shawn Kemp, finger point guard. Yes, pun very much intended. Shawn Kemp had a strong and long career with various teams between the 80s and 2000s, almost as strong as losing his monstrously long arms. In one particular instance of pure uncut finger-pointing arrogance, Kemp, playing for Seattle in the 1992 playoffs, would hurt himself down the lane, cradling the ball in hand and leaping into a mighty dunk versus Golden State. Alton Lester would attempt the intercept, but was a little late attacking and collided with the midsection of Kemp, getting knocked to the floor for his trouble. How embarrassing! Of course, not as embarrassing as what followed. Kemp dropped to a squat and pointed two gigantic fingers at Lester, mocking his feeble attempt to get in the way of his triumphant dunk. Just Google their names and see the results. Things like Shawn Kemp murders Alton Lester. Thankfully not, but bad enough. Dikembe Mutombo's finger wag. From finger pointing to finger wagging, Dikembe Mutombo had a lovely and condescending taunt for those he blocks. Renowned for being one of the greatest defensive shot blockers of all time, winning 4 NBA Defensive Player of the Year awards, Mutombo played for Denver, Atlanta, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, and Houston in his career. He also became famous for a taunt that was virtually his trademark, even used in a 2013 Geico commercial. After blocking a shot or dunk, something substantially more possible for a 7'2" man like Mutombo, He'll wave his finger in the face of the shooter and smile, usually accompanied by him saying, "No, no, no, no. Not in my house." This is an extremely patronizing taunt that probably royally ticked off those who had to face it. But then again, when you're 7'2", you probably patronize people just by existing. Michael Jordan just shrugs. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. That's without a doubt unquestionable. Jordan isn't only the single most iconic player widely renowned as the greatest all-around NBA player in human history, but also came up with one of the most celebrated and infuriating taunts in the history of the sport. Everyone knows Jordan was the ruthless type, cocky and sometimes arrogant, challenging to get the most out of his team. But when you're the best, why apologize? Who cares if people like you when you can lead by example instead? So, it was then that in the 1992 NBA Finals, Jordan did something no one had ever done before. He made 6 three-pointers in the first half of the game. After you watch this, go find them. They're freaking awesome. Anyway, after he finished his 6th three, he looked at the camera, shrugged, and gestured as if to say, "What? Sorry, I can't help it if nobody can touch me." He then bobs away shaking his head. As humble brags go, it's one of the coolest of all time by anyone, ever. It smacks of a man at the top of his game, at the top of his sport, in the most high-pressure situation you could find yourself in as a professional athlete. Yet here's Jordan having fun with it. It's like when you challenge your friends to a game of Street Fighter and you know all the moves, so you absolutely decimate them. And then when they look at you all hurt, you simply shrug and say, "What?" Well, that's it for disrespectful taunts. Did I miss any? And if I did, let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, which we know you did, thumbs up to show your support. Subscribe and ring that notification bell for future updates. Until next time.